Well, hello, my friends. It's Ron Perry here, aka Just Another Scale Modeler, because I'm no different than any of you. I wanted to make this video today, number one, because my good friend, someone who's very close to my heart, who's always been very concerned about my well-being, and, we have a very good connection with the modeling. Kevin P. I know he wouldn't want me to say his last name. He's a private individual, and I just wanted to send my love and thanks to him. Ron Ron from New Haven Rails on YouTube. He's been a great help. All these paints over here, a bunch of paints and some good old Weld-Bond glue he sent my way. Oh no, actually he sent me some Eileen's tacky glue, but he wanted to send me some Weld-Bond, which is sometimes hard to find, and I know he did his best to try to find it. But those two helped me a great deal and get me back into modeling. Also, let me go grab my piece of paper. Also, I want to thank the patrons who have stuck with me even when the shit hit the fan. Or maybe I should cut that out and put things went wild on my life. And I had, I decided to put the modeling down and try to work to fix things with me and my family. Those people just can't believe it. Like I used to have 20 patrons. I'm down to 3, and I can't believe I have those 3. They stuck with me through the whole thing, and it's whether it's $5 or $1, it doesn't matter. It really touches me. It's I could cry right now thinking about it. And those people are Ron Piskel, John Dilly, and my good friend Edward Traxler. Thank you very much, you guys. You're really cool. You're really a great help. I also want to thank my friend and long-time supporter, Dave Onstein, aka Sparky107 on YouTube. He's always been a great help, and actually, all the models and paints that I still have, I wouldn't have them if they weren't for him sticking them up in the rafters in his garage. So I want to thank Dave, because he really put himself out for me, and I don't know if I deserve a friend like him, but he's there. So let's get to the modeling. Today we are building Hitzeman's Feedmill by Laser Kits by American Model Builders Inc. This is a long-time company in our hobby. They've been around, and they, along with Campbell's, I think these guys really pioneered the laser kit revolution that has really taken our hobby from the really loosely accurate plastic kits to what we have today with the real wood. There's nothing that you can't make something look like wood as good as wood. And these guys take wood and they laser cut them to exacting standards, and this is a fine kit. I know we've gone through many iterations of laser wood kits, and they started out really crude. But even as crude as they were back in the day of Campbell's kits with the die stamps, and like sometimes you had to repair half the parts just to put them together. However, even though you had to repair some of these parts, they still came out way better than a plastic kit could ever look like. They take paint so well as compared to plastic, and it's really benefited our hobby from being a toy-like pastime to something that we can really appreciate as a not just a hobby but a lifestyle. And there's companies like Laser Kits by American Model Builders and other companies. We can thank them for it. So let's get into the modeling. I just wanted to start this video by thanking everybody who's helped along the way, especially the people who contributed during the GoFundMe campaign my mom put together after I watched somebody get hit by a train. Really messed my head up. Really messed me up good. And I'd like to say everybody who was in that list. Maybe by the end of the video I'll scroll them out in the credits. But one person I specifically would like to point out would be Kevin Rubel of Caboose Hobbies, who sent me a contribution on GoFundMe. That was wild. I still think of myself as a nobody, and getting the support of somebody who really helps the hobby as much as he does. He really is a champion of our hobby, and Caboose Hobbies is a hobby shop that we should support, because they're a long time company, and they're crazy good. I know they've got a brick and mortar shop that not everybody could make it to. I've never been there before in my life. However, they've got a great online business, and anybody even on the moon or Antarctica could order and get their models shipped to them. Models, paints, trains, what have you, repairs, probably advice too. I just want to thank Kevin Rubel and Caboose Hobbies for their support during my time of need. And I'm going to really put myself out on this model here because, I think that, I owe all those people. So, get a little emotional here. Because I never expected to get the support that I did. And so I'm a little low on supplies. I didn't get all the... I used to have a great model shop, a great, toolbox full of paints and supplies and tools and stuff like that. You're going to see in this video some of my paints have been, they're a little off kilter. And I use modeling materials to recreate the things that I've said before. I used to say use India ink and alcohol to weather your wood, whereas today I'll make something from scratch, just from what I think will work. And so we're gonna get this model done, and you might be surprised how it works out, because I didn't just sit down and slap some paint on a model. I sat here and practiced on a piece of wood to make sure everything's gonna work out good. So patience is what this hobby is about, and if you sit down and try to practice and put your mind to work and don't give up, you'll go a long way in this hobby. And it's a heck of a lot better and possibly cheaper than a psychiatrist. Thanks to everybody who helped in making this video. Your contributions really got me back to building models, and that's a gift that bring a tear to my eye. So thank you very much. Well, as I've already said, we've got this kit that was sent to me by my friend Kevin P. From Alabama. Riptide, buddy. So the kit is all called Hitzeman Feedmill from American Model Builders Laser Kits. A laser kit wood construction, precise fit and easy assembly, layered peel and stick window and door systems, notched and interlocked parts, 2 detailed loading docks, a great companion piece for your HO scale kit number 166 Alton grain elevator. It's about 9 inches long, 5.5 inches wide, and 7 inches high. It's in the HO scale kit number 117. So like I said already, my modeling supplies have been depleted, and many of them were frozen solid. And as we all know, acrylic paints do not like to be frozen because they don't really go back to their normal consistency once they're thawed again. So I am going to be making my own wood weathering. I'm going to be using a little bit of glycerine because I believe that it takes the viscosity of the water and loosens it, much like dish soap will do, or other items that we use in that regard. I'm going to be using water as my base of this, so that means that I'm going to be bracing my wood in a very extreme manner. Now, I know there's experts out there who think that I probably just started modeling because I've been gone for 3 years. However, I started modeling back in 2006 and worked very closely with a modeling company. Serendipitously met them right when I was just getting into the hobby. So my model training was a trial by fire, really. I was just put right into the middle of level 10 and was taught by a very good modeler by the name of Joe LeMay, who's an expert to all people who know him. He's a great guy too. Taught me some old school secrets, and also taught me to get over the fear of not knowing how to do something and try things out. Don't try things out by ruining your projects, but practice on a spare piece of wood, piece of paper, what have you. Get the right colors before you get into this stuff, because sometimes, when paint dries, it either dries darker than you want it to, or alternatively brighter or duller, or it doesn't always dry in the way that you might expect it to. So practicing is very important in my mind, and Joe taught me that. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking a little bit of water. I'm putting a little bit of acrylic black paint that has dried up. Well, it hasn't dried up. It's just kind of coagulated into a big blob. And I just want to use a little bit of that black, and I want to mix it very, very consistently. And using the glycerine, it is my opinion that it'll break up that paint, the pigments of that paint, and allow me to get my weathering to embed itself into the wood and get a nice base coat that will gray up my wood and allow me to paint the red paint over it that I want to put on. I have looked on Google to find some examples of feed mills, and I think that the red paint really makes this model pop. I could use white paint or an off-white, but then I felt like that looked like the Purina kind of style of building, and then I'd probably go all out and try to do the checkerboard logo that they do. But I didn't want to do that. So what I'm doing here is I'm laying out the kit as it should be built, finding out how the parts fit together, and I'm gonna start bracing my wood. The kit didn't really come with a wood bracing, so I used some of my own in the box. And I'm sorry if you don't have wood on hand, but you could go use stir sticks, any type of wood that will glue across the grain. Now, wood has a grain that runs in one direction if it's normal wood. If it's plywood, the plywood is made to cross grain itself. One layer has grain one way, the other layer has grain the other way, and it protects itself in that manner, so it's a little bit stronger. But this normal basswood, or whatever it is, could be straight pine, soaks up water like holy smokes. So I want to put on a lot of bracing. I want to have a nice thick stick, and I want to glue that stick across the grain, in between the windows, at the sides of the buildings. And generally I don't want to have too many parts of the model with flat wood that will let the water make it go wavy gravy, if you know what I mean. Now, once my wood is all braced up, I want to place it together with a weight on top, so just as to squeeze out the excess glue from behind the bracing, in between the bracing and the walls, because having a nice thick layer of glue ain't gonna help me. I want to get that glue nice and squeezed out so that the wood's bonded to wood, not wood bonded to glue, glue bonded to wood. You know, I just want that to be squeezed out. I want to have a nice bond to the wood itself. Now, once I've got that glue dried up as much as I can, it doesn't have to be fully cured, in my opinion, but you know what? This is a patient hobby. This is a kind of thing where you do a step, you walk away, you do something with the family, you know, or if there's no family around, you go watch something on TV or clean the house, do whatever. You know, you just take this modeling in steps. So we let the glue dry, or you can let it cure, which is great. And once it's cured, then we're gonna take our weathering mix that we made already and tested on our wood and paint it onto the wood. So this weathering that I've made is probably about 60-70% water and about 40%, well, let's just say 50% water, 40% paint, and maybe about 5 to 10% glycerin. You know, that glycerin will let that water, it won't make it bubble up on top of the wood and fight its way into the wood. It'll try to get itself to embed itself into the wood right away, and that's what I want. But once again, we're gonna let it dry completely. I let it dry overnight. After a good night's sleep, I went to watch my nephew and niece play hockey this morning and went over these photographs to see how I wanted to paint up my structure, and noticed a bunch of different kinds of styles of structures and how they were painted. And I decided upon dark red. Used Tuscan red specifically in the cheap paint aisle. This is my gift from Ron of New Haven Rails. Thanks again, Ron. So after breaking my brush and moving ahead, used a fan brush to test on my piece of wood the different colors I had, and like I said, I decided upon Tuscan red. I find these days I like to use gloves because, you know, after a little bit I get paint on my hands, glue on my hands, and sometimes that glue gets stuck into the model, and once glue gets into the wood, the paint doesn't really want to get into the wood as good as it would if I just avoided all that. So gloves work out great for this. And using the fan brush, I'm going to use a wet brushing method, kind of in between normal and dry brushing. I don't really like to dry brush much because it takes too much time when you're doing a lot of painting, and in the end it's all about brush pressure that gets the texture down right and stuff like that. So I'm gonna use that, and later on I'll use a little bit of sanding sticks and stuff to get a little bit more variation laterally. Remember, one of the most important parts of painting is that we want to paint in the direction that our weathering goes in. Now, the wood is painted horizontally, not laterally. So what I usually do is I paint horizontally and I weather vertically, because weathering is usually caused by rain and it comes up and down. And when you're painting, wax on, wax off, you go horizontally, like with the horizon. And I'm using just a little bit of pressure so that I can get some variation in my coloring and allow that gray that I added to the weathering to the wood show through. After I started painting, I also noticed that the crack in the wood between the two wood panels showed a little bit more than I'd like to, and I just put a little bit of glue on the back of the panels so as not to let light go through it. I think that would have allowed my paint to go in and kind of sit on top of the glue and kind of hide that crack a little bit more. Later on in the building process, I'll probably do something else to try to hide that line a little bit, but as of right now, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back and cruise on through trying to paint this structure. I don't want to rush at it, but I also don't want to spend too much time painting this because I'm painting so lightly and using such a small amount of paint that I really don't need to spend a lot of time getting in every nook and cranny of this piece of wood. I want to leave some parts of it open so that we can see that weathering in behind it. So I hammer on through this process to some parts of the build you just get through it. Making windows comes to mind when I'm thinking about time taking parts of the build, and you don't want every part of your build to be a time suck. If you know what I mean. If this is your first model, by all means, take all the time that you need. Be patient with it. Don't rush through things just because Mr. Perry on the YouTubes or Facebook told you to. Take your time. Be patient with it. This is your modeling in your time. It's not my job to tell you what to do. It's my job to really show you what I did. Perform the task in front of you so you can see how it turned out when I did it, and for you to make up your own mind how to do it on your end. By all means, if you have a structure that was in your historical mind's eye was a brand new building, paint that bugger as just like it was painted yesterday. However, in my mind's eye, this structure was built probably 40 years ago, or maybe 60 years ago, and maybe hasn't even seen a stroke of paint in that entire time. Sometimes only portions of the building are painted. Sometimes there's a overhang where the water ran down the subroof and didn't hit the roof or the wall underneath that roof. So that's something to think about too, because the paint underneath that roof would be a lot, it wouldn't be so weathered up. It would be a lot better, so that up above would be crack and peeled, but down below, it might be look like it was, it's a fine, it's a nice coat. So consider these things when you're looking at your modeling diagrams and stuff. Having said all that, I would still just paint the entire structure with our pseudo dry brushing technique, and then after we figure out where our subroof goes or our overhang goes, go back and paint the wall to suit that lack of weathering, because at this stage we don't really necessarily know exactly where that roof is gonna go, and later on, when you do know, you'll be able to put it on and it will look great. In the end, what we want to do is build the best possible structure that we can make. At the last moment here, I take my weathering solution and try to put it on, but I think I screwed it up a little bit, so I just put it to the side. Now we're gonna glue the structure together. Now, as I've said, I used to have modeling tools to do everything, square up the structure, do everything, weather it up, scratch it up, all kinds of things. But since I don't have that, I'm gonna use my crazy glue and handy dandy spray can that cures that crazy glue almost immediately, and make some squaring blocks out of these pieces of wood that we're taking out of other structures that I've kept. It's always a good idea to keep a little bit of wood from your structures, like the stuff that's the throwaway parts. Sometimes they come in real handy, just like these pieces. At first I was holding them, putting them in between the painted pieces and the weathered pieces so that they wouldn't put lines on each other, or put the weight on top of them so the weight itself didn't add any texture to the walls. You never know what's going to come in and creep into your model, making it look add some kind of thing that you didn't want to add particularly. And so now that I get to my walls, I notice that one of my walls, I put the my wood bracing in the wrong spot, because on the end walls you can't put your bracing right at the edge, because the side walls has the wood right at the edge, and then all of a sudden you've got a wood that wants to be in the place where another piece of wood is. So I had to cut it off, and that broke the wall just a wee bit, and I just cut that off, cut the wood that was holding it, and put that on after, because patience will get the job done, even though you screw up, like I always do. I'm a Frenchman. I only learn by screwing up. Tabernacle. But take your time, because the solution will usually pop up, and things will work out just the way you want them to. So I'm gluing this structure together, and I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna do some dishes here with my son. Well, I'm gonna make my son do it, and I'm gonna watch him, make him sure he's doing it good. You know what I mean? Hey? This is gonna conclude our video. I wanted to get the structure, glued together, square. So using the squaring blocks, we were able to get this structure nice and square easily. You don't have to fiddle around trying to get this structure square with 4 loose corners. So you're gonna have 2 tight corners, and they're gonna come together nicely. And then we're gonna put on our little interior wall. And because of the slot and tab construction of this model from American Model Builders, it was really easy to put together. Really easy as compared to some others that I've done. I'm really happy with the way this structure is going together. If you want to support these videos, if you like the videos that I make, if you like my style, maybe my humor, leave a comment below. Put a like on the video, subscribe, press the bell icon, because when I put out videos, I either tell you about what's going on or make a great big model build video like this. And every model build video, I like to share tips and tricks. Next video we're gonna be painting, and I'm gonna be talking about what my theories are about that, and we're gonna make our own concrete colored paint, because I don't have these specifically designed modeling paint colors. So we're gonna make that from scratch. So thanks for watching, guys. My name's Ron Perry, just another scale modeler. I've been doing these videos since maybe 2009. I started the whole modeling process and being on the internet probably 2007 with the modelersguild.com, but the last few years I let that go. Maybe I'll try to get that back. I imagine how popular it was. I might have to pay a lot of money to get that back, but we'll see. Anyways, if you want to support this show other than putting down comments and putting likes and all that jazz, you can become a supporter over at patreon.com/Ron Perry. I'd really appreciate it. It would help me restock the shelves over here at the modeling shop in Ingersoll, Ontario, Canada. I would like to thank you for watching, and let's close out the show. You know what I mean? Talk to you later, guys. Thanks for watching.